Deep within the embrace of the Emerald Isle lay a secret. It was ancient, terrible, and whispered on the wind. This was the Lake of Lost Souls, a place where vanity met its end, and nightmares began. The lake was a dark, unblinking eye in the heart of the forest, surrounded by a silence so deep it was deafening. Few dared to approach it. Even fewer dared to speak its name. The forest surrounding the ominous lake was old, older than human memory. It had stood for centuries, witnessing the rise and fall of civilizations, the ebb and flow of nature's cycles. Each tree, each leaf, seemed to whisper tales of a bygone era. The trees were gnarled and twisted, their branches heavy with moss. They bore the weight of countless seasons, their forms sculpted by time and the elements. The forest was a living museum, each tree a relic of the past. They stood like silent sentinels, guarding the lake's secrets. The water, dark and still, mirrored the ancient trees, creating an illusion of an endless forest. It was a place where the boundary between reality and myth blurred. The air was heavy with the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves. Each breath was filled with the essence of life and death, a reminder of the forest's eternal cycle. The ground was soft underfoot, a carpet of fallen leaves and rich soil. Sunlight struggled to penetrate the dense canopy. The few rays that did manage to break through created a mosaic of light and shadow dancing on the forest floor. It was a world of perpetual twilight, where day and night seemed to merge. The forest floor was a tapestry of shadows. Each step revealed new patterns, new stories woven into the fabric of the earth. It was a place where one could easily lose their way, both physically and spiritually. The only sounds were the rustling of leaves and the occasional snap of a twig. It was a symphony of nature, a reminder of the forest's vibrant life. Even in its stillness, the forest was never truly silent. It was as if time itself moved differently here. The forest existed in a realm of its own, untouched by the hurried pace of the outside world. It was a sanctuary, a place where one could escape the relentless march of time. Legends spoke of ancient Celtic rituals performed in the forest's heart. These sacred ceremonies were believed to connect the physical world with the spiritual, drawing upon the forest's ancient energy. The ground seemed to hum with the echoes of these long-forgotten rites, whispers of sacrifices made to appease forgotten gods. The forest was a place of reverence and fear, where the line between the mortal and the divine was thin. Each rustle of the leaves seemed to carry the voices of those who once worshipped here. The trees themselves seemed to hold the memories. Their bark, rough and ancient, was like the pages of a book, each scar and mark telling a story. They were the keepers of the forest's history, silent witnesses to the passage of time. Their bark was etched with strange symbols. These markings, worn by time, were a language of their own, a script that spoke of ancient knowledge and forgotten lore. They were the forest's own hieroglyphs, a testament to its enduring mystery, a language lost to time. These symbols were a bridge to the past, a connection to the people who once roamed these woods. They were a reminder that the forest, though silent, was alive with stories waiting to be discovered. The lake held a dark allure. It preyed on vanity, on the insatiable need for self-reflection. Those consumed by their image were drawn to its murky depths. They came seeking solace, a mirror to reflect their perceived perfection. The lake sensed their arrival. It could feel the vibrations of their narcissism. It watched them from its murky depths, patiently waiting. The lake offered what they craved most, a vision of their own beauty. But this reflection was a cruel deception. The water shimmered, rippled. Instead of their true selves, it showed them what they desired most. A vision of ultimate beauty, power, or intelligence. It was an irresistible illusion. As the unsuspecting soul gazed into the reflection, a thick fog would rise from the lake, a spectral mist, cold and clinging. It enveloped them, suffocating their senses. The fog was a shroud, a veil between the world and oblivion. Within the fog their memories would unravel. Their sense of self would dissolve. All that mattered was the reflection, their desires. The fog was the lake's breath, its insidious touch stripped away their essence, sucking their souls out through their mouths, leaving them hollow and vulnerable. Their souls, now untethered from their bodies, would rise from the fog. The lake would then claim its prize. It would drag the souls down to its cold, dark depths. One sweltering summer day, a group of young campers stumbled upon the lake. The sun was high, casting a golden hue over the landscape, and the air was thick with the scent of pine and earth. Drawn by youthful curiosity and a thirst for adventure, they were oblivious to the danger that lurked beneath the surface. The lake shimmered invitingly, its cool waters promising relief from the oppressive heat. They saw the lake as a playground, a source of amusement. Splashing and laughing, they revelled in the freedom that summer brought, their spirits high and worries forgotten. The campers were filled with the arrogance of youth. They believed themselves invincible, their confidence bolstered by the camaraderie they shared. Their laughter echoed through the silent trees, a jarring intrusion upon the ancient stillness. The forest, usually a place of quiet reflection, was now alive with their energy. They had come seeking thrills, a break from the mundane. The forest and the lake offered a perfect escape, a chance to explore and push boundaries. They would find something far more sinister. As the day wore on, dark clouds began to gather, casting ominous shadows over the lake. The lake, sensing their arrival, stirred from its slumber. Ripples formed on its surface as if it were awakening to the presence of the campers. It recognized the campers' vitality, their untainted souls. The lake seemed to pulse with a strange energy, drawn to the innocence and exuberance of the teenagers. A rare and potent feast. The water glowed eerily, reflecting the sunlight in a way that seemed almost supernatural. The lake began to weave its enchantment. Mist rose from its surface, shimmering in the light as if casting a spell over the unsuspecting campers. Intrigued by the lake's murky depths, the campers decided to explore beneath the surface. They donned their snorkeling gear, oblivious to the danger that awaited them. The water was deceptively calm. The surface a shimmering mirror reflecting the azure sky. As they descended, the world above faded. Sunlight struggled to penetrate the murky depths. The water grew colder, darker. They were entering the lake's domain, a place where the natural laws ceased to exist. Then they saw them. Hundreds of glass bottles littered the lake bed, each one containing a swirling mist. A face pressed against the glass. The campers were mesmerized, unaware of the danger they were in. Curiosity overcame caution. One of the campers reached out to touch a bottle. As their fingers brushed the cold glass, a jolt of energy surged through them. It was a transfer of essence, a soul for a soul. The camper, now a prisoner within the bottle, watched in horror as their own bodies surfaced. Their friends, oblivious to the exchange, continued to explore. Unaware of the fate that had befallen their companion, or the fate that awaited them, the exchange was swift, brutal. The lake had claimed its new victims. Their souls, now trapped within the glass prisons, would forever reflect the vanity of those they had replaced. The campers, now inhabiting the bodies of the narcissistic souls they had released, felt a profound emptiness settle upon them. The weight of their actions bore heavily on their hearts as they realized the true cost of their freedom. Their reflections were no longer their own. The faces staring back at them were twisted, unfamiliar and haunting. It was as if the lake had stolen their very identities, leaving behind only shadows of who they once were. They were trapped in a distorted reality, their identities stolen. The world around them seemed to warp and shift, a nightmarish landscape that mirrored their inner turmoil. The lake had claimed not only their souls but their very essence. It was a malevolent force feeding on their despair and growing stronger with each passing moment. Their personalities, their memories, their hopes and dreams were all consumed by the lake's insatiable hunger. The vibrant individuals they once were had been replaced by hollow shells, devoid of any true emotion. They were hollow shells, puppets controlled by the lake's malevolent will. Every action, every thought was dictated by the dark force that now held them captive. Their laughter, once joyous and carefree, now echoed with a hollow ring. It was a cruel mockery of the happiness they once knew, a reminder of the freedom they had lost. Their movements, once fluid and graceful, were now stiff and unnatural. They moved like marionettes, their strings pulled by an unseen hand, their every step a struggle against the force that bound them. They were strangers in their own bodies, prisoners of the lake's cruel game. The once familiar faces and places now felt alien, as if they were living in a perpetual nightmare from which there was no escape. The sun began to set. The forest floor was bathed in an eerie, otherworldly glow. But the campers, their souls forever bound to the lake, remained, trapped in an endless cycle of vanity and despair. The Lake of Lost Souls had claimed its due. It would remain a silent guardian of its stolen treasures, a testament to the seductive power of narcissism and the terrifying consequences of vanity, forever lost beneath the surface. The forest held its breath, the trees whispered their secrets to the wind, and the lake, its surface still and black, waited patiently for its next victims.